Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. If you didn't remember to set those clocks back, the ones that don't automatically do it for us, make sure you do that today. Or not back, it's spring forward. So if you didn't change your clocks forward this morning, if they didn't automatically do it, make sure you do that. And yes, some people lost an hour of sleep and it affects people differently. So hopefully you can catch up and feel better. I know there's talk every year about doing away with daylight savings time. We'll see if it happens this year or not. But right now we're stuck with it. Those of us that have to do it, and we just got to deal with it. Appreciate everybody joins. I am drinking out of a goofy mug today. And it's okay to be goofy, but it's not okay to be a rude bitch or bastard. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Did a TikTok and reel about it, but I'm going to share a little bit more. So here's what happened yesterday. I'm pulling in to get gas and pulling up at Costco, you have two gas pumps, one behind the other that everybody can pull up the same way into. And my two left. And so I am pulling up. The front one of this on the side of me left, but the guy was finishing up behind. And so this woman who was so impatient, she drove around him and then parked, next to me, but really cockeyed and screwed up. So the guy couldn't get out. And I got out and I'm filling up my gas. He finished up before she even started pumping. And then said, excuse me, can I get out? And then she was all annoyed, and she wasn't nice and apologetic to the guy. She was a bitch. And so she gets back in her car, and I said, she's a terrible driver because it took her like forward, back, and she got her car moved over. And then she backed up really close to him. My wife thought maybe she did it on purpose, causing him to back up more to then be able to get around her and leave. And again, she was just rude and a bitch, never apologized to him. And I'm filling up my gas and I'm just about finished. And I almost had an empty tank. And I'm finishing up and she's starting. And we could have started at the same time. She was way behind because of her impatience and being rude and being a bitch. And, she's just one good example of what we see constantly going on. And there's no reason for it. There is no reason to go out and be a rude bitch, a rude bastard to people out there going about doing their business and doing absolutely nothing wrong. The guys filling up their gas did absolutely nothing wrong. It was her impatience and rude attitude that was at fault, and it actually cost her time, because I was finishing up and leaving and sort of chuckled at it cost her time, and she could have been gone and on the road, whatever was so important for her, quicker if she would have just waited for that guy to pull up forward and go instead of jockeying around and cutting him off and then having to change her car and all of that. So it was just sort of funny, and I had to chuckle that she got hers. And why was she like that? I don't know, but we see it all the time, and it's not necessary. Life is going to be much more enjoyable if we're nice to people and we're not rude bitches and bastards. Going to say good morning to Jay and good morning to Vicky. Appreciate you guys being here. Jay says right on. Thank you, Jay. So that's just a little message today. I bet you have stories and have seen this, if not today or yesterday, at least within the last week or so, because there are a lot of rude people out there. And it's unnecessary. I'm telling you, if you are nice to people, they're going to be nicer to you back, and you're going to have more enjoyable life. And that's what we're here for, right? Enjoy life and do it safely and help others do the same. They're going to enjoy life when you're nice to them and they're nice back to you, more than when you're rude to them and you piss them off and they have to call you a bitch or a bastard. or whatever you are. Dixon's here this morning. Dixon says, society has gone to hell in a handcart. Shaking my head. All right, Dixon, I get you, because so many people have. We see it constantly. And here's something, though, we can't do. We can't let somebody else's actions, such as that, turn us into being rude back. Don't let them change you. You know, we have to control our own body, our own actions, our own words. Sure, somebody throws a punch at you, our response is going to be stop that punch and knock the guy out. Is a jerk to us, we don't have to turn into jerks, right? So don't let others' behavior dictate what our behavior is. You know, I posted a quote like that, something like that, by the Dalai Lama before, and I think it's true. And the Dalai Lama wasn't talking about when you had to defend yourself. The Dalai Lama was talking about going about your everyday business. You don't have to turn into a jerk. You don't have to be rude just because you encounter rude jerks out there. So that's just a little story I wanted to share today. You know, I said I got a chuckle that her impatience and rudeness cost her, and then that she was still sitting there gassing up as I drove off. And I hope whatever she was late for, that she was really late because of being such a bitch. And there's no other way to put it, because that's what she was. Even my wife thought so. And don't do it. Every morning, wake up. If you're in a bad mood, change it and go out. Be nice to people. Be polite to people. Be social. And I guarantee you things will be better. When you're a jerk, when you're rude, when you're an asshole, things get worse. They might even get violent. That's a safety tip too. A whole lot of people have been punched in the face because they were jerks to somebody. So it's a safety tip, it's a life tip, and it's a way to enjoy so much more. Now go out, be pleasant to people, be polite, make it a spectacular Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow.